Good afternoon, everybody. Let's kick this webinar off. So today we're going to be discussing the BSB automatic trading program, which has been about 7 months under development at BSB. We do thank you, of course, for your patience. The main goal of this webinar is to give you obviously a brief overview on the new auto trader that has been launched, but I'd like to spend the majority of the webinar also discussing the key risks associated with these auto trading streams that we have launched, and of course the industry in general. As always, I am required by the law to read you this disclaimer, so please bear with me. The contents of this material are for informational purposes only and do not constitute investment advice. Blue Sky Binary assumes no responsibility for any potential errors, inaccuracies, or omission in this material. Nothing in this communication contains or should be considered as containing an investment advice or an investment recommendation or a solicitation for the purpose of purchase or sale of any financial instrument. Binary options trading may not be suitable for all investors, as it carries a very high degree of risk to your capital. Trading such products is risky, and you may lose all of your investment. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Poor fill rates, expiry times, market volatility, and platform errors could result in losing trades. Before deciding to invest in binary options, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. You should be aware of all the risks associated with foreign exchange and binary options trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Okay, so the agenda for today is to give you an introduction on the BSB automatic trading program. I want to discuss the mechanics of the automatic trading industry or the auto trading sector. For those of you that are quite new to binary options in general, there is this niche industry, and I think it's worth exploring the mechanics, how it works. Then we'll get straight into it, discussing the pricing of our two auto trading streams that we have launched and also their historical performance. And then we'll go over the setup, what exactly you need to do in order to set it up if you are interested in subscribing to the streams. Then, of course, we'll discuss money management, what we recommend if you are going to be subscribing to the streams. And then to give you a brief overview of our longer-term research and development pipeline with regards to BSB ATP, which is just a short form for automatic trading program, and what kind of lies ahead. And then last but not least, not just for regulatory reasons, but this is a genuine risk warning. It's very, very important that you understand the very heavy risks associated with using auto trading on your capital. And that's something we're going to go over here. And then last but not least, Q&A as always. Okay. So the BSB automatic trading program is a product of the BSB research and development team. It has been in making for about 6 or 7 months, and it will allow traders to have BSB's highest in the money rate or win rate signal streams auto traded on their binary option accounts at a variety of brokers over time. All right, that's the kind of mission statement, so to put it. Now, the automatic trading program went live this month, May 2015, with its first streams, the BSB Extreme 15. This is a short-term variant of the extreme signal, which is end of hour, which you all see on the binary dashboard from time to time. And this, the extreme signal that you're quite used to, has a long-term back-tested accuracy of 68.5%. That's over 3 years. The shorter expiry variant, which we are launching as an auto trader stream, or which is already launched, is actually 4 percentage points lower than the 68.5%. Okay, but the forward testing has shown that it's a bit more stable for the purposes of auto trading, and that's why we've gone for a 15-minute expiry variant. Okay. Now, the second strategy, the second auto trader that we have launched, or the second signal stream, is the BSB Turbo, which you're all very accustomed to now. It's been around for almost 6 months, and that has a back-tested accuracy of about 66% over 1.5 years. And over the course of 2015, as stated earlier, we will be rolling out more streams, with the BSB Hybrid being rolled out very shortly as well. More on that a bit later. Now, the first two streams, BSB Extreme 15 and BSB Turbo, will be using this signal push infrastructure, and trade replication will be handled by the industry leader in trade automation signal push. A lot of you are aware of them. If those of you that aren't, I'll describe a little bit what they do in a bit. So, as discussed, on average, Extreme 15 is projected to generate about 60 trades per month, right? Roughly in that range. It could be a bit lower, it could be a bit higher, but that's the volume you should get used to. With an ITM of above 60%, with 70% subscription insurance on your next month, should the ITM be below 60%. So, in any given month, if you have subscribed to the BSB Extreme 15 or the BSB Turbo, and that month has lower than 60% ITM, you effectively get 70% off your next month's subscription. All right. We are basically following Signal Push's commercialization of how the auto trader pricing and the insurance works. Okay. This is not BSB, but this is basically how they do things. And we are using them as the mode for replication of trades and, of course, also payment handling. So all of this is embedded in their program. Please note that the BSB Extreme 15 and the BSB Turbo does not use martingale. The Turbo is estimated to generate about 30 trades per month. The Extreme 15 is double that volume. The Turbo is just 30 trades a month. Now, in some months, it could be a bit less, in some months, a bit more, but that's the average you can expect. And the ITM on the Turbo, which is a slightly more stable signal, is probably going to be 60 to 65%, closer to 65%. And of course, all of this is backed with live auto trading performance. We have been running tests for 2 months now with Signal Push. And those links, of course, are available for you to view as well. A bit of background on, why have we chosen Extreme 15 and the Turbo strategies? Well, the key thing to note is that both these strategies have good long-term back-tested performance and forward-tested performance in the BSB community. They're basically based on mean reversion, based on price or sharp price moves in the market, followed by subsequent reversals. Okay. Now, they are low volume signals. You're not going to be getting 10 to 15 a day. No way, right? So this is something you'll be probably getting 2 to 5 signals a day in that kind of range. And it's a medium ITM strategy with good risk mitigation in place. It's very unlikely you'll be getting, 6 extreme signals fired and 4 turbos at the same time and all are OTM. The likelihood of that is almost negligible. But it's important to note that this isn't a 70, 80, 90% auto trader. Now, having said that, the last week, I think both Turbo and Extreme 15 were above 70%. But we don't want you to extrapolate that going forward. Rest assured that if you have a good week, it's probably going to be a pretty bad week the week after that, to average things out somewhere around the 60 to 65% mark. All right. So that's a quick intro on the BSB Auto Trader streams. A bit on the industry mechanics for those of you that are new. How exactly does auto trading work? So over here, you have the signal provider. Now, this signal provider can be Blue Sky Binary. It can be a vast array of signal services out there, either algorithmic, which means robotic, which is what we're doing at first, or human signals, right? And those are normally generated on a platform, on a server, and that information, that signal, is then sent to Signal Push, which has an entire network of servers, which then effectively takes that signal and replicates it in your binary option accounts. All right. So there's 3 stages to the value chain here, and the replication normally is instantaneous. So we're talking a few milliseconds. It's rare that it takes anything more than a minute for the replication to happen. So that's how the industry kind of works. Now, having said that, and this is probably the most important slide on the webinar, so please pay very careful attention. The auto trader industry in binary options as of May 2015, in our professional opinion, is extremely unstable. Okay, it is extremely unstable. It's not just unstable, it is extremely unstable. With the absence of proper regulation on both binary brokers and platform providers, along with the absence of a common market or liquidity provider, counterparty risk is very high, and the ability to interfere with entries and exits by brokers, also known as price manipulation, is high. So, according to our research, at present, there is no working auto trader with long term reliable historical results owing to these aforementioned issues. All right. Auto traders may work in the short term, but we have not yet found a stream that's worked over 1 to 3 years. So we're attempting to address that gap in the market with our own streams. But it's very important that you realize right now, for those of you that are excited, please dampen your enthusiasm. There's no reason to be excited. Now, for these reasons, we are categorizing the BSB ATP program as a very high risk product line, okay, and one that our users should approach with extreme care and caution. Although the BSB team has done everything reasonably practicable to ensure the safety of the Extreme 15 signal stream and the Turbo stream, we cannot even come close to guaranteeing that there will be no trade replication errors, broker price manipulation, and even if you do make a profit with our streams at the end of the month, we can't tell you if you're going to be able to withdraw your money. And for those of you that have placed capital with certain brokers, you're aware of exactly what I'm talking about right now. So while Signal Push does work with vetted brokers and it has not faced many withdrawal incidents by their users, which is a good thing because Signal Push has good vetting practices in place with a sound management team, in our view, this could change in the future, and none of the brokers they work with have been vetted by us. We only work with very few brokers, none of which participate in auto trading, right? So it's important for you to know that Signal Push has done their homework, and that's why we're working with them. But neither Signal Push or us can ever guarantee that brokers don't change their whole mantra. So it's very important that you understand how dangerous this product is, especially if you're thinking about allocating large amounts of capital. And last but not least, is this the future of BSB? Are we getting fully automated? We will continue to work on future streams, and they will always be launched when they meet our high quality benchmark. But because of how unstable the industry is, it is a deprioritized product line for us where the risk outweighs the reward. Okay, so BSB is an education service with trade recommendations that are automated. We have powerful tools like the dashboard. We have a very large product coming very soon, which will address the signals industry. But for auto trading, in our view, it is not wise for us to dedicate too many resources to this until the industry becomes more stable. Okay, so with all this in mind, please keep this in mind when choosing to invest in any automated signal stream launched by us. Now let's discuss pricing and performance. The BSB ATP will launch its streams either as bundles, so 2 or 3 streams packaged in one, or standalones, which may later be merged into bundles. Okay, so the BSB Extreme 15, which is the first stream, and the BSB Turbo, which is the second stream, will cost $99.99 per month per stream. Okay, per stream, not both together. If any month is under 60%, I'll just reiterate that. And as you know, we are using Signal Push, so we're also using their inbuilt insurance mechanism, which gives you 70% off for the coming month. All right. Now, you will need to do the homework to find out what is the right dollar per trade size you need to set in order to generate a positive ROI on your account. All right. There are no hidden charges, there are no rebates, and there's certainly no refunds for this service. Right? Again, we're using the Signal Push payment gateway for this and their commercial terms. Now, the following 2 links show the live performance of both streams over the last few months that we've been testing them with Signal Push. All right, so the Turbo and the BSB Extreme, so you can get some degree of comfort with regards to what the ITM is, what the kind of volatility in ITM is week in and week out. All right. So these will give you some degree of comfort, or for those of you that are low risk, you may find that this is not the type of ITM you're looking for, given the $99 price tag per stream. Okay, now let's discuss setup. So we're now at the stage for the people that, despite all the risks associated with auto trading, you still want to go ahead with this. As described, BSB ATP will run through Signal Push, right? Our streams will be featured. Actually, our streams are featured on their app marketplace right now. Again, as mentioned earlier, as either bundles or standalone streams. You are to follow the instructions on their website in order to set up a new account or connect your existing broker account with Signal Push. Now, BSB Otto, who is our head of automation and R&D, will assist you personally if required. Okay, for those of you that are not so computer illiterate, you can certainly use our help on this, and we'll try and help you and set it up. For those of you that have used Signal Push before, it's plug and play. Key thing to note about auto trading, there's no chart setup required. Although you may need to install some software on a case-by-case basis, again, BSB R&D Otto will be very happy to help you with this. So feel free to reach out to us on that front. Let's discuss money management. So again, I can't reiterate enough. We would suggest you approach the BSB ATP program with extreme caution and care. We have done our bit over the last 6 to 7 months to tighten as many bolts, and cross as many T's and dot as many I's as possible on our side. But now it is up to you to trade responsibly, right? We would suggest setting your trade sizes to $25 to $50 a trade maximum and deposit the minimum possible at the required broker. There is no need to go in with 500 plus or $1,000, unless you have money to throw away, literally. If binary options is a fourth or fifth form of income for you, where taking a few losses, then it's not a problem. You can go ahead and subscribe to these. But if you're relying on this auto trading stream to be your primary source of income, we would highly advise you against it. All right. Take a long-term view on your capital. Take an annual or 6-month view on the auto trader, and then you should probably be rewarded for that patience. This is not for the get-rich-quick type of clientele. All right. So if you're looking to make a quick buck, go look elsewhere. This is not it. And again, just on this point, at best, according to our forecast, the BSB ATP will generate a stable income for you per month, but rarely will it ever replace your primary source of income, unless you start taking excessive risks, which means you start depositing $5,000 to $10,000 in your auto trader account, and then you start to put very large trade sizes. Again, we would never ever recommend you to do this. I personally would never think about doing it, even if I had $1 million in the bank account. So in our view, the industry right now is just not in the shape at this moment to handle that from so many perspectives, technically, regulatorily. And last but not least, in the odd event that the streams start to fail, they shouldn't. But again, like with any airplane, all the precautions are taken, but sometimes airplanes do fall out of the sky. If you do experience a 75% drawdown with BSB ATP, a collection of these both streams or one of them, just cease the program and move on and learn how to trade. That's our primary mission here, and we're very happy to help you with that. Let me give you a quick roadmap on where we're headed with the BSB automatic trading program. These two streams is a very small portion of where we want to go for BSB ATP. So May 2015, that's where we are today. Extreme and Turbo are live. You can go ahead and find them on the Signal Push page, or you can get in touch with us and we have the links. June 2015, things get a bit more exciting with regards to the automatic trading because we're launching the Hive SWAT or SWAT. I won't discuss too much what Hive is. That'll be shortly delivered to you over webinar. But essentially what that is, it's a third stream that'll go live on Signal Push, and that's actually a combination of machine and human signals automated. So our best traders will be giving signals and they'll be automated in your accounts. Okay, so that's a third stream that goes live at some point next month. That'll probably be the final. We will probably only have 3 streams in the market at any given point. There's no need for more. And then in July, the project that I'm personally very excited about, and so is the team, is actually Dashboard SP, which is Dashboard Signal Push. It's actually a Dashboard 2.0, if you will. It's a fully automated version of the dashboard. So everything you see in the dashboard today, you can just point and click and have that particular trade or news or a tripwire automated into your account, right? And that's I think that's where we're more excited. The BSB automatic trading program is to go for the hybrid solutions, things like dashboard where there is still human intervention, where you as the trader are looking at the dashboard, you're seeing certain signals or trade recommendations, and you're seeing certain indicators, or you're setting your tripwires, and the ones that you want to automate are automated. That's for us the big win in the industry, and we're teaming up with Signal Push for that. So it's a very reliable partnership and technical alliance. With regards to these streams, in my personal and technical and professional opinion, these are very, very high risk, whereas the dashboard SP is a more lower risk way to auto trade. Okay, so I think I've spent pretty much 90% of this webinar discussing risks. Let me just ram it home again one final time before we go to Q&A. So as highlighted earlier, the auto trader industry is still in its infancy, right? The entire industry, binary options, has about 560,000 traders. It's growing at about 30% a year net. The auto trading niche is a small fraction of that industry. And in our view, the risks of you placing your capital, especially if it's large amounts of capital, if it's small amounts of capital that you can, dispose away with part of your disposable income, then it's fine. But in our view, placing capital in an auto trader, given the industry risks, we believe the risk is to the downside. Now, the BSB automatic trading program is recommended for those who have spare capital to lose or have a very high risk appetite, right? If you fall in this category, then by all means, it is an option for you. Last but not least, please do your homework on the required broker. For legal reasons, I'm not allowed to mention here any broker names, and you'll note that I've not mentioned any. But you will, of course, find out which brokers our auto trading streams work with. And please do your own homework. So research the web, go to Forex Peace Academy, go to all the binary option forums, and find out that that broker does meet certain basic criteria and industry standards before you impart with a lot of your capital there. Okay, or you may have problems with withdrawals. And last but not least, no matter what happens, we don't believe you should be depositing more than $500 with any broker for any BSB ATP stream. Okay. Now, with that all out of the way, I do hope that this adds some value to your trading, the BSB ATP program. I am now free for questions. Question from Meng: does the dashboard SP require you to subscribe to BSB ATP? Meng, the BSB ATP is just the Blue Sky Binary Automatic Trading Program. It's part of our research and development unit, and it's just where all our automatic trading operations will be featured and developed. It's just an umbrella. There is no subscription to that. The dashboard signal push will, of course, be a separate product. Okay, and you'll we'll still have to work out pricing, how that will work for existing BSB members, for those that want to swap their subscription from the existing Dashboard 1.0 to Dashboard SP. We still need to work through the commercials of that. I would say we are still probably 6 weeks away from launch of that. And so we'll probably have more webinars discussing that. Any other questions, anybody? Peter, I really like your honesty about ATP. Thanks, Peter. Of course. I mean, in the end, I know this is not what a lot of you came here for. You were all hoping that I'll be jumping up and saying, subscribe. And, for us, it's very easy to launch an auto trader. And based on our good brand name, we could get 500 subscribers and start making $20,000, $30,000 a month. But if we have one OTM month, there goes our brand name down the toilet. And for us, brand is far more important than cash flow at this stage and even the long term. And most importantly, if our members are not making money, then what we're doing is not working. So the auto trading is not something we're excited about. It's something we've developed to respond to a market need, and we have put our quality checks in place. Every part of the research and development process is always working on fine-tuning every product we launch, right, and making it safe. But there are risks that are out of our control in the industry. And unfortunately, it's nothing BSB can do at this stage, but maybe in 1 or 2 years' time, when we have more resources, we can actually launch auto trading products that we're very excited about that actually work and make all of our members money. But at this time, the risks are way to the downside. And it's in the end, honesty is always the best policy in this industry. Tim, your question, what does Panda mean on the SP descriptor? The Panda is basically a binary options platform. So like Spot Option is a particular binary options platform, as is Tech Financials or Markets Pulse. Panda is just another type of binary options platform. Okay, some brokers use it. Again, for legal reasons, I'm not allowed to mention which ones, but you'll find out soon enough. George, if I understand your question correctly, what is better for a new to binary? In my personal opinion, education is the best. You have to learn how to trade, and you will never need an auto trader in your life. To be quite honest, it's the best way. And for those of you that that say you don't have time to trade because you have a job, well, focus on the job. Climb the corporate ladder and become rich. Binary options is not for you. Um, and for those of you that want to make a living out of binary options, then give the industry the respect it deserves and learn how to interpret charts. So for a newbie to binary options, I would never suggest an auto trader. Absolutely not. Not least because you don't know what it is, but most importantly, I don't think you're ready to understand the risks associated with binary options trading. So if you have 1 month, which is great, which is possible. I mean, the Turbo delivered 77% ITM last month, I think. And this month, if it's 55%, you may throw your toys out of the pram. And that's just a problem with not understanding the industry. So in answer to your question or anybody's question, if you're new to the industry, auto trading is certainly not for you. It's only for the very high risk uh, people with a high risk appetite, and also tremendous amount of disposable capital, if you ask me. I see a question from an unrecognized person, DW. Is there an affiliate program for it? Absolutely not. We're not interested in scaling this up. Even if it makes us millionaires, I'd rather be a pauper than push this product. Um, Certainly not now. When the industry becomes regulated, when there's liquidity providers, we're happy to consider it. At this moment, we're not going to push this through any affiliates. Stavros, your question on do you have in-house versus with signal push results? I don't understand your question. Can you please rephrase that? John, yeah, with respect to the signal push links, sorry, I didn't mean to be elusive earlier. I'll post both of these links in the education room, sorry, in the VIP room very shortly. Also, you can go to signal push on the marketplace and you'll find them there, right? The performance and also the subscription link. So it's totally up to you. Pavel, great question. Thank you so much for asking this. So, Pavel's asking us with regards to the preferred broker, do you recommend picking a broker with bonus offering or without? In our view, taking bonus in this industry is always a bad idea, whether you're an experienced trader and especially if you're a new trader, all right? Because it locks your capital in. And if you don't have a proper trade process, which means the ability to generate 60 to 65% ITM week in, week out, your risks of ever um, meeting the volume required to unlock your capital and the bonus are severely to the downside. So my answer to you is do not take a bonus. That's just my personal view. But after that, of course, if you have some good deal and you have a trusted broker, it's totally up to you. We cannot give investment advice on that front. Nathan, what broker platform will the BSB ATP be mapping to? At this moment, we're agnostic. Ideally, we want to work with the brokers with the best regulation, the best internal KYC checks, the biggest balance sheets. Um, there are some brokers that with which our auto trader works. You'll need to find out on Signal Push. Again, for legal reasons, I won't be mentioning any names on this webinar. Mr. Foxy, again, I cannot mention any broker names on this webinar, but you can head over to the marketplace on Signal Push and you can find out where the BSB ATP works. Elvis, good question. When will Mike start auto trading? So Mike signals. Mike, by the way, is one of our superstar traders. And he is him and of course more traders who are currently in training will be delivering signals, and because of the technology, because of our link up with Signal Push, we're going to be auto trading some of those signals as a stream on the marketplace. So that's the Hive SWAT thing that I alluded to earlier. That's about, I'd say, anywhere from 2-3 weeks to 8 weeks away. It's quite a large range. Um, Mainly because we are currently inundated with so much development, both on the advanced indicators and the signal side. So we it's not a priority. It never has been. But soon the human trader signals in BSB will be able to be automated as well, right? And maybe you want to wait for that. It's totally up to you. Pavel, yes, you're 100% right. So you're stating here that you know that some brokers' bonuses can cause withdrawal issues. Yes, they can. So with that in mind, I think you know what needs to be done. Thank you, Meng. I really appreciate that comment about my voice. That's very kind. Okay, I see an interesting question here from TN, another cryptic name. Does the ATP apply the additional analysis you teach us, re how we need to trade the signals from the dashboard, or does it automatically open a position every time there's a signal? Amazing question. It automatically opens a position every time there's a signal, and all our signals that we're adding to the ATP are plain vanilla. You kind of what you see is what you get. There is no analysis. So that's the reason also the ITM is going to be lower, right? So if you look at the extreme signal end of hour, we've back tested over 3 years across few metals and about 15 currency pairs, and we've really tweaked it, kind of maxed it out to about 68.5% ITM, which is quite high in our professional opinion. Now, the 15-minute variant of that is actually 4 percentage points lower, but what the forward testing has shown in the last 2 or 3 months is that the variance, which is the volatility of the ITM week in, week out, is closer to that 63, 64%, whereas the variance and volatility on the 69% ITM version is higher. And with an auto trader, I think, when humans are subscribing to the signal streams on signal push, they don't want to see losing weeks. So we need a more stable bot, so to put it. Even if it has lower ITM, even if it just has 62%, I think you'd prefer that a signal stream that delivers 62% week in, week out, as opposed to an 80% signal stream that delivers 100% one week and 30% the week after that. So in answer to your question, unfortunately, there is no additional analysis applied, but the good news is that these signal streams that we have uploaded in Signal Push don't require analysis. Because the replication is instantaneous, generally speaking, and because it's kind of trading 24 hours, while you're asleep, you should be coming out with close to the kind of the percentage, the long-term ITM percentage that's stated. Now, if that doesn't happen for whatever reason, of course, we'll go back to the drawing board and find out what went wrong. But I don't see, especially with the turbo, which is such a low volume, higher ITM signal, I don't see too much disaster on that front. Okay, Tim, fantastic question with regards to signal push. How does signal push negotiate differences in the signal entry price and actual broker strike prices? If there's a big gap, is the trade just not taken? With respect to the second part of your question, I don't know. It's a good question. I'll get back to them and I'll find out. Great question. The first part of your question is just again, I don't know. I will have to check. But my initial impression is that the trade replication happens almost instantaneously. It's a few milliseconds, and that's what differentiates signal push from other kind of also ran or wannabe trade replication services in binary options. Signal push really has some powerful technology which allows them to do it instantaneously. Now, here's our experience. Without mentioning any broker names, we have tried these streams that we have launched now to you commercially, publicly, for the last 3 months with Signal Push quietly in what is known as a closed beta. And we have replicated these trades on multiple brokerage accounts. And in certain brokers that actually have a good name, they're considered one of the best brokers. To our unfortunate surprise and to our disappointment, there's a lot of price manipulation happening. So, the Signal Push gets the trade, but unfortunately, the broker doesn't replicate it in your account. And so I think the issue there is not, does Signal Push negotiate differences in signal entry price? I don't believe that's the case. I think it's actually the broker just sometimes shuts off accepting trades. And that can destabilize a system considerably, right? Because imagine you get a week where you have 10 turbos, 6 won and 4 lost. That's still profitable, but it only replicated 2 of the winning ones and replicated all of the losing ones. And suddenly you've gone to 20% ITM or 30% ITM. And that happened to our account with a specific broker, which we have deprecated. So we're not including that broker in the streams. But whether it's signal push negotiating, I highly doubt it. Having said that, I've noted this, and I'll get back to you on that. Ashraf, your question, can we provide a similar product to Forex? Yes, with curve and extreme, if you look at the intra-hour variance, i.e., in English, basically what that means is how much the price moves during the hour, we would essentially need to launch these streams with stop loss and take profit levels automatically attached, maybe a trailing stop loss as well. And it can be done in answer to the question. But do we plan to provide EAs, expert advisors for Forex using our technology at the moment? Not now, just because we have too much on our plate and our resources are best spent in actually improving our binary options offering. Will BSB move to FX? 100%. I mean, that's definitely going to happen, but we would say probably sort of October, November onwards this year. And we will move to FX because a lot of our background is in FX, so that's something we are going to be moving. And also BSB ATP, the automated trading program side of things, is of course going to be moving in FX. And the good news about FX, sorry to keep going on about this, is that industry, believe it or not, is more stable on the trade replication side. There is a higher level of regulatory maturity, technical maturity, risk management maturity on the side of brokers, which allows us to enter the market with more confidence than we can say about binary options. It's a true shame. But the good news is binary options is catching up. Regulation is coming in. We had two brokerages listing in one binary brokerage, one technical platform provider listing in London recently. That's great because then the Financial Conduct Authority, gets in on the game. And once we get regulation there, it makes things easier. But the FX industry actually has so much volume and liquidity providers that creating a stable bot for it is certainly on the cards. It's not something we're working on now, but the good news is we have the technology, we have the signal streams to make one for it, right? Simon, thank you. You're saying on signal push it says extreme 15 is 5 signals per day, which would be around 100 trades per month, but you mentioned 60 trades per month, which is more accurate. Simon, 100%. So the 60 is a conservative figure. We're always going with a conservative figure. It probably is going to be a bit higher. If you look at the performance, I think in some months there was almost 100 trades at one point. So I think the more accurate figure is probably a figure somewhere between 60 and 100. I would personally go for 60 and assume 60% ITM in any sort of ROI calculation you're doing, just to be on the safe side. And we should probably also get that checked on signal push. I would prefer to err on the side of caution and state 60 rather than 100 trades. Thanks for flagging. George, your follow-up question, is it better to use your signal from dashboard? Yeah, if you have the time to trade manually, then our dashboard has an assortment of trade recommendations which you can use to generate ITM over time. The more stable signal streams are Curve, Extreme, Turbo, and Core 3, and of course some of our EOD signals. These are the stable ones. The more risky ones are the Gecko, which for some reason is outperforming all our signals in the last month and a half. But that's a very risky stream, and so is the Tide. The Tide is very high risk. But the dashboard right now doesn't replicate your trades, just to be clear. So it doesn't automatically replicate your trades in your binary options account. You need to physically go and punch in, call, and put after you see the signal on the dashboard. Sunilia, with respect to your question on the broker, if that's the one that's there, then correct. Duncan, you said you could only find one of the streams in the marketplace. That shouldn't be the case, but if it is, I'll speak to our R&D guys. Both streams should be live as of Friday. Thanks, Elvis. Stavros, okay, your question. Where the in-house performance results from turbo signals traded in BSB the same as turbo signals that were mirrored in signal push? What is the discrepancy latency in using signal push? That's a fantastic question. So there was a discrepancy, believe it or not, but it's about 10%, roughly in that range. So if the dashboard in any week will fire, let's say, 30 turbos, then signal push will replicate possibly 25. Kind of in that range, 27 to 25. So some trades, always what you have to understand is signal push, for whatever technological reasons or brokers not accepting trades, will have slightly less trades replicated than what the dashboard is firing. Okay. For example, it can also have to do with expiry and asset availability. So at 10 in the night, if you get a turbo put signal on CAD JPY, very few brokers have that pair at that time of night for turbos. So in that instance, the trade will not be replicated in Signal Push. But the good news is if you click on the performance link for both the streams in Signal Push now, you'll see the level of profitability, and both are above water, which is what matters in the end. But equally, the good news is that you can also see the weak weeks, right? So you know exactly what you're getting. Turbo has had one or two losing weeks in the last 3 months, and it's important you assimilate and you understand that there will be losing weeks. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, so are we. The dashboard automation, and the human intervention signals, that's kind of more exciting for us as well. George, with respect to your question, are we going to give old folks a discount? Yeah. What can I say? You can PM me. I mean, as I said, I'm not so excited about the product. We have gone with the payment gateway of Signal Push. And they have their pricing in place. Maybe what you could do is just subscribe to one stream, whichever one you like more, and just rely on Mike, who's your man, to do your bidding. And hopefully the turbo stream works and you make up your $99 subscription. Rollins, your question: would we have to pay a separate fee for using Signal Push services? What I can tell you, so you can rest with some degree of comfort, is for existing BSB members, we probably won't be charging anything extra for you to upgrade to Dashboard SP. So that's the good news. For non-BSB members, we're going to be charging a lot because there's some cost associated with it. Having said that, there will be a cost to purchase so-called API credits, which is the application protocol interface credits. And I think you can purchase a few hundred or a few thousand over at Signal Push, which basically gives you ammunition to trade replicate X amount of dashboard signals or tripwires and all that. So you're effectively purchasing some ammo, so to put it, from Signal Push. But having said that, that's quite cheap. They sell those, for a few cents on the dollar, so those are not that expensive. So the cost increment for you would be negligible. But there is that API cost. That is the way Signal Push, funds itself partially, and we need to respect that. So, but will we be making margin on this product for BSB members? Probably not. And we'll probably be giving the option for BSB users to upgrade to SP at some point or remain downgraded at the manual version. George, your question: will we give signals to Forex? Yes, it's a good question. Yes, we will. So we are launching manual signals for FX, for the entire currency market, very soon, but not on the dashboard. We have a separate, very large piece of development that's been going on for the last 6 months, and that's being launched soon. It's purely signals, and there we will be launching a vast array of signals, not seen before on the dashboard, that we've been quietly developing. And also some of those will be for the FX markets and also for the stock market. Okay. George, with regards to older members giving a nice discount, please PM me. Okay. How can anybody say no to you, George? Foxy, I haven't seen your second question. If you could please repeat. Ashraf, you're asking if you can switch off auto or trade manually. I believe Signal Push has that capability. So if you get in touch with their support or speak to BSB Auto, who is our R&D person, I believe there is a capability for you to switch off the auto trading automatically in Signal Push, and you just then click on each signal and it's replicated in your account as and when you like. But don't take my word for that. Just double check that. Stavros, are you going to have access to FX signals? Correct, you are, but that won't be part of the BSB current pricing plan because it's launching under a different brand, it's launching under a different product. So if that is something you want to consider, you can do that. Again, there's going to be a lot of webinars on that because it's a pretty large piece of it's a pretty big service that we're launching very soon. So more information on that at that point. Foxy, yes, correct. That is correct. That if that is what it says, then that is correct. And again, I cannot give any opinion here on whether we like the broker or we don't like the broker. Again, for legal reasons, you got to do your own research on that. Rollins, no, the subscription for the FX signals will not be on the dashboard. So just to be clear, there is no more signals that are going to be appearing on the dashboard. Okay, the dashboard has now reached its what we would call product repertoire maturity, so to put it. There is no more that we're going to add. What we are going to be doing is continuously improving these signals and indicators so that they become immensely powerful. I mean, that is our goal. Right now, let's be honest, it's the dashboard does leave a lot to be desired. It has some good things, but it has some pretty shoddy things as well, and we're very aware of that as traders. The dashboard makes me angry as well, as much as it does you sometimes. But the good news is that it's always one step forward. The dashboard that you see today is much smarter than it was 4 or 5 months ago, contrary to the opinion of one or two people who believe our first dashboard was better for some reason. But generally speaking, the dashboard we have now is a powerful tool, but it's maybe 60% of where it should be. So the Curve, Extreme, Turbo, Gecko, Tide, all of these have significant upgrades to go through to improve their stability. The advanced indicators, the good news is, are actually going through a transformational change. Um, and I don't like to talk in hyperbole, but actually the code has improved so much that when you actually see a channel surfer firing or a breakout, you'll actually see that on the charts. These days you see a channel surfer and suddenly you're looking at a waterfall. So it's it's things are going to improve drastically, but we're not going to be adding more and more signals because the problem with that is it makes you very lazy. We don't want to make this a signal service. For that, we have a separate product, which I've been alluding to, and that's where the FX signals and all the other signals will be on. Okay, any other questions? Bibin, no, you cannot do auto trading. Yes, you can do auto trading with other brokers, but not for our signal streams. Our signal streams only work with specific brokers. You need to go to Signal Push to find out which ones they are. Thank you, Tim. It was a pleasure. And again, I do apologize if this webinar was not as exciting. And it's probably rare that the creator of our Auto Trader stream is actually telling you to not subscribe to it. But I think it's very important. It's our fiduciary duty that you understand the risks in the industry. Stavros, with respect to your question on the Gecko, yes, there will be a webinar. So Zio has spent the weekend going through the performance of the Gecko because it's kind of surprised us as well. The back tests, the Gecko shouldn't be at 75% ITM for five weeks straight or something like that. It's kind of ridiculous. 65 to 75%. It's normally been a 55% signal. So we've made some changes, but we're surprised by the results. So we're going back and testing again how it would have done over the last year or so. When that is done, I will give a webinar on how to trade the Gecko and how to filter out bad geckos. Okay, but a lot of the principles that we use in how to trade curve or how to trade extreme apply very much to how to trade the gecko, believe it or not. But I will be giving a webinar, and again, that will be uploaded under your tips and tricks section. Tips and tricks, yeah, tips and tricks, tips and tricks. Well, I have trouble pronouncing that. Okay, Bibin, yes, you do. You need to register with a signal push broker if you want to use our auto trading streams. And I'm hoping you were here for the first part of the webinar where we outlined all the risks associated in doing so. But if you're happy with those risks, then yes, there's I think some brokers that our streams work with, and you need to then probably create an account with them or whatever. Okay, I see no more questions. Any final questions? All right, good. So this webinar has been recorded. It won't be on the dashboard because there are 5,000 people using the dashboard these days, and only 100 are in BSB. So I can't post that there for legal reasons, but this will be on our website. And we'll, of course, include the link in the VIP room for those of you that want to go over again to view it. Okay? So have a great week.